A'udzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good morning and salam sejahtera to everyone.
Good morning, Doctor.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for your response. Alhamdulillah, we can meet again today. Today is 1st November 2021. Inshallah, our class is 10 to 11, 1 hour class. And we are going to continue the topics or perhaps the problem that we discussed earlier that was on page 66. Yeah? If you can turn to page 66 on your notes. Hold on, I'm going to change this one. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to share with you this one. We have this one, isn't it? So if you can turn on page 66, if not mistaken, the last thing that we discussed, yeah. So on example number 7, you have the solution with you. I just only perhaps discussing how the numbers and how to go about it. The next thing, inshallah, I'm going to solve completely based on the question extracted from the past test and also exam, inshallah. Yeah. Okay, the other thing we are going to meet again, inshallah, next week. So we're going to see the another topic. So next week, please be ensured that if you join my class, you have to on the video so that you have to put on proper attire in my class. I also will be on the video so that we can because I'm going to show you how to use the right hand flaming rule, thumb rule, and so on and so forth to construct the factors of gyroscopic couple. So I need to show you the movement of hand, yeah, typically on that particular topic on gyroscopic couples. So please be ensured next coming lecture, just next week we have the video on here and put on your proper attire. Okay, this is the thing that we discussed. We completed up to, I think we completed up to this one, didn't it? We completed generating the table 1 and table 2. Okay, again, the hint will be, remember, table 1 is always to lock compulsory. Table 2, you have choices. You can lock or perhaps you can let the gear running freely. But the minute you have to let the gear running freely, you have to ensure that they must provide you 2 speed. This one, yeah, if you want to let the gear running freely, excuse me, you have 2 speed. You must have 2 speed. The speed could be provided, or you need to calculate beforehand. Okay. So in here we already completed the whole thing. So the whole table 1 and table 2, and we are assuming that table 2, or perhaps we are taking consideration that table 2 by letting the gear running freely, as there is no mention about locking any part of the gear, isn't it? So there is no statement mentioning about lock any part of the gear. So you have to let go the gear now running freely. So that is why they provide you 2 speed, which is speed coming from this one 1200, which is coming from the input shaft. This one is 1200, and the other hand is a shaft K here also running 1800. So don't worry, even though you know well that this shaft K is not part of this epicyclic here, but you need to calculate A2. So you need to get A2. So you need the data from 1008. So that will help you A2. So as A2 now will be calculated, so you have to speed, and A2 and I will be these two from table, and for this one from which table? From table. Okay, now we start. Okay, we start. We already completed the whole thing. So our aims is what is our aims? 1 minute. I'm going to. Okay, what is our aims earlier? Our aims is to define, determine the speed for both output O1 and O2. This one, what is the O1 and what is the O2? So I'm going to open up another file so that that make me easier to without disturbing the early file. So this pull down menu sometimes give me problems. I can't easily use the pull down menu. Okay, now. Okay, so this one, yeah. So you have this one. So what you need now is to define NO. Look at here. You need to define NO here. So here your result will be NO1 is equal to A plus. Sorry, it's not A plus. It's basically A minus 3 by 4. You have A minus 3 by 4 B. Isn't it? This is your aims now. So you need to define. So you have to calculate what is A and what is B. Then you know what NO1 is. So obvious, isn't it? So there is what they provide you this one. Gear I running with the speed of 1200. And gear A2 connected to this one connected to K. Right? Connected to K. Look at it. Connected to K. A2 is connected to M. Sorry, yeah. Connected to M. But K is given by 1800. So you need to know what A2. How is it? It's not very difficult, isn't it? So this one you can use the result coming from what you had learned in your notes. If you remember what you have NA2 divided by, sorry, I say divided by, just put this equal sign. Again, yeah, you have NA2 divided by, is it okay for you, class? I just write on the screen, on the notes, so that you can easily refer. Is it okay with you?
Okay, doctor.
Okay, Na2, what that's connected to M, so divided by N M. Isn't it? Is equal to what? Is equal to, this one is Tm divided by Ta2. But remember, the connecting or the connection A2 to M is, this one is the external. So this one is the external. But remember, this is the external connection. I remember this again. Yeah, this one is this is the external T. External T. But this is also external connection. Remember? External connection. What do you have for the external connection? Negative. Remember the internal connection and the external connection. Remember now? So you have negative here. So if you simplify this one, you'll be getting Na2 is equal to Tm is provided here. Tm is 40 divided by Ta2 external is Ta2, Ta1 internal, Ta1 external, Ta2 internal, Ta2 external is 120 multiplied by, you bring this n up, nm, sorry, it's nm, yeah, nm, yes, nm. But remember, nm is basically, but put it here, but nm is equal to mk, isn't it? Because it carried by shaft key. So nm is equal to nk, so that will give you 1800. Put it there in negative. So 1/3 of 1200, you'll be getting negative 600. And this is very important, isn't it? So you go back to the calculation. You know that this one is negative 600. Now you have to speed now. One speed, another. You understand me or not? Is that clear, class? So that is how you go about it. Okay, everything is your note. Yeah, you have in your notes. Yeah. So what you have now is you have two speed. You have two speed. One will be, you have two equation. If you can put it your equation, yeah, you have one is Ni is equal to 1200 equal to A minus 3B. You have another one, and A2 is equal to negative 600 is equal to A plus B. Get the result of what is A and B. From that two equation by using simultaneous equation. So if you do that, yeah, you have here, you have in your here equation one equation that will provide you A equal to something, B equal to something. So many students, I think, asking about can they use the old, notes or old module which is not in printed as book. I just answered that the new one come with solution. The old one you don't have solution. It's up to you to decide. If you want to save money, so you use the old one, but you have to work hard. So now you have the two one. You have the result of A and also B and also A. So you bring back this equation. So that will give you the answer. It's not difficult, eh? It's not difficult. So NO1, as we have earlier, this one is the NO1. So this is the first part of our equation. Any question? Any question?
Doctor,
Yes.
for the NO1 187.5 RPM, need to put positive in front of it.
Okay, thank you.
Need to put.
Supposing here you have NO1 is equal to negative 100. Okay, negative 100 RPM. Then you put equal to 100. This one RPM. Then you put what? You put what? This one. You put what? Opposite direction. Isn't it correct? That is correct. You don't put negative here, opposite. So that one is that different. Okay. This one you put opposite. This one will not will vanish. Am I answering your question?
So need to put either negative or just put opposite direction in
Okay,
behind.
you can put here correct. You can also put here correct. But if you put NO1 equal to negative 100 is equal to opposite direction, that is not correct.
Oh,
Understand me or not?
understand, Doctor. Thank you, Doctor.
Okay. Okay. So then you get the result of one just now. What? Here, yeah. You have here 187.5. That will be the first part of the result. So the second part of the result, or the second part of the question, asking us about what will be the NO1 now. Sorry, NO2. But if you look at very careful, and again, NO2 is not part of epicyclic here. Look at very careful. NO2 is not part of epicyclic here, which is now is connected to A1. This one. So you have to look, you have to find Na1. Isn't it? You have to find what is Na1. Then you know what's Na2. So that is why you go back here, this Na1, Na1 is A. Okay, so you have the equation that's saying that Na1 is equal to A is equal to, you calculated earlier, A is as, what do you have for A just now? Is 150. A is 150. Put it here. A equal to 150 negative. Isn't it? You have negative here. A equal to, yeah, A is negative. So then make use of the equation now. Okay, now I'm going to solve it here. So you have to look for NO2 divided by Na1, Na1 is equal to, you have Tn, Ta1 divided by Tn. And this Ta1 is not Ta1 alone, it's basically external. And you have negative sign here saying that this is the external connection. This one is the external T. This one is the external connection. Two different things, yeah. This one is the external T. This one is the external connection. This one is external connection. Okay, then you simplify. You have NO2 is equal to T1 external given here. T1 external here 90 divided by Tn also provide here. Tn is, where is Tn? 30, this one 30, multiply by this, and A1 just now is negative 150, and you have another one negative. Isn't it? Yes or no? And finally, what you have? You will have what? Positive 450 RPM. What does it mean here? It simply means that, yeah, so supposing you are focusing on this one, it simply means that if this one is A1, this one is the O, this one is put it here as ANA1. This one is SNO2. It simply meant that this guy is running negative, meaning that counterclockwise. But you have the external connection saying that these two are basically what? Basically opposite direction, isn't it? But you have negative here again. So you're burning positive, same direction. Okay, so this one is in term of what? In term of numericals. In term of numericals. So it will rotating which way now? Rotating. This one is counterclockwise. This one we call it rotating clockwise. So what is clockwise? Clockwise is equal to positive direction. Yes or no? Yes or no? Is that clear? Hello?
Adik kau tak makan ke?
Yes, Doctor.
Tanyakan dia, dia makan
Clear?
tak?
Okay, I think there is one part, one method, but you have another method which I will not be exposing here because I have no ample of time. You have to look on your own, yeah. So look at here. The other method, you know, you still keep table number one, as it is, but as table number two, what you did now is holding L2, but you give S2. Remember table number two, you have choices in it. You hold L2, you can give A2, or you can give S2. What we did was the earlier one is A2. Now we try S2. This one keep maintained as it is because this one belong to L2. Okay, if you do the one, inshallah, of course the equation and the equation you'll be getting is different, yeah. But finally, at the end of the day, we're getting same results. Same result. This one, same result. We have this one also same results. Okay, I'm purposely exposing to you with so many examples, so that if you read book, for example, you read any other books, for example, you know that we are basically what have a choice to choose the correct or the what do you call it, the convenient solution that you can do confidently in your test or in exam. Okay, so it's up to you. It's up to you to decide which one you feel that. But as long as you understand that, if you this is the gear, yeah, is this the gear? This one is the sun. This one is the planet. This one is the planet. So you hold arm, and you can give what? You can give A. Oh, sorry, it's not A. Sorry, yeah. You can give S,
Hari ni aku tak nak keluar.
or you can
Hari ni aku nak
give
cakap
A,
semua benda.
positive
Dah
B,
siap, baru aku boleh
or
keluar.
negative
Dulu
1, as long as these two
malam
gear
ni aku nak
connected
recap
to
balik belajar
planets.
PE.
So that is the hint of the overall solution. So don't worry. Again, if you found that your table 2, as I mentioned earlier, will not, I know you don't get the correct valid equation. Don't panic. You go back to your table number 1. Okay, you go back and look at your table number 1. Okay. Cyclic gear, as I mentioned earlier, AP, you have two things. One will be kinematics. What we're doing now. The other one is kinetic. Of course, when you're talking about kinetic, you're dealing with what torque, the efficiency, of course, the power, and also the power. The OTI, this one PONP. Okay, so I'm going to share with you this one now. Okay, these are the three torque comprising in any epicyclic gear. Partly TI, TI is the input torque. Okay, the input torque. Then you have TO as usual. Then you have TB. TB, some would call as braking torque, some would call as fixing torque, some would call as holding torque. It doesn't matter. As long as any part been locked. Remember this one, lock, fix, hold. So these are the torque that you need to give to the system to hold the gear, for example. or to fix the gear or to lock the gear. If you're locking A2, for example, yeah. So if you lock A2, so you'll be getting what? TB, correct, is equal to TA2. You get what I mean? Because you have A1 and A2, isn't it? You have A1, A2, and 3, for example. You cannot simply lock the whole gear. You need to lock only part of the gear. So assuming you lock S1, okay, lock S1, S1. So you have your TB now is equal to TS1. Is that clear? Okay, so now, so this is one of the example. So one of the example. You have two cases. Okay, you have two cases. Remember class, you have two cases. What are the cases? One case, the first case is what we call input and output shaft rotating with same direction. Simply mean that the omega I is equal to omega O in term of direction. It's not in term of magnitude, yeah? In term of direction. The problem now, how do you know that omega I equal to omega O in term of direction? So in that sense, you have to go back to your solution. You go back to solution. For example, for example, this one just now is running with a speed of 1,200, isn't it? And finally, AO now, O, yeah, O, you calculated O that will provide you here as positive. Look at there, positive 187.5. Am I correct? So you put it there. This one is positive, positive, this one positive, yeah? This one positive 187.5. So you have the O and the I now is running in the same direction. You get what I mean, class? Yes or no? You get what I mean?
Yes, doctor.
So it's plus. So if you want to look for example, yeah, for the gear ratio, for example, you know the gear ratio will be, of course, EO and O, sorry, NO by NI is equal to whatever you have here, isn't it? O is 187.5. Here is 1002, and you will have a positive here, correct? Because these both give you positive. So that is the meaning of X. Where are you? Again, the pull down menu giving problems here. It's supposed to be hiding the pull down menu, but very unfortunate. It 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 is not hiding. Okay, now it's hiding. Okay, now. So this one, yeah, omega I and omega O running with the same direction. Okay, so another case where you found that it is running the omega I, omega O running opposite direction. Again, how do you know? You go back to your results. You go back to the result. Supposingly, yeah, let's say put it here. This one is 1,200. Then this one you get negative 500, for example. So if you put together this one, yeah, you will have what you have. You will have this one is positive 1,200. This one is negative 500. So you'll be getting negative. Oops, you will get the negative, isn't it? Or it is what negative, opposite direction, positive and negative. So you go back to the figure. You will have here. Look at here. This one running clockwise from your seat. This one is running or rotating clockwise from your seat. So this one is what? Opposite direction from omega I and omega O. This one omega I and omega O running the same direction. Do you get what I mean? So there are two cases, remember, there are two cases. Then only you can start with. Then only you can start with. So how do you start with? Look at it very careful. I'm going to share with you this one in a simple manner so that you can understand. So supposing that you know that these two omega I and omega O running with the same direction. I put it there as omega I is equal to omega O in term of direction. In term of direction, yeah. So look at here. See, this one is no doubt. Ti omega I is a good friend. If omega I rotating clockwise from your seat, Ti also rotating the same direction. But look at Tu now. I'm going to share with you what happened to Tu now. Okay, now I'm going to where are we? I'm going to give you example here. So I'm going to open up I'm going to open one of my blank template, yeah, so that I can write something on it. Okay, now you have just now this one. Okay, this one will be This one will be omega I. This one will be omega O. Okay. Then the Ti is always running with the same direction of the this one, yeah. Same direction, same direction. But TO, look at TO. You look at from one end, view from one end. What you found that it be as this one, right? Then assuming that this, this shaft here is connected to, this is the shaft. This one is output shaft connected to drum, supposedly, yeah. So this one drum, and it carry width of M. And if you generated the what do you call it, the free body diagram, what you have, you will have M. This one is put it F. This one is the mg, of course. And this one, if you can draw back the drum, put it, the drum is here. Oh, sorry, drum is here. Never mind, I draw here, yeah. I draw it here. This one is the free body diagram. Okay. This one is F. This one is mg. This one is M. Obviously, you have the chord here, so the chord will be also F. And this one rotating that way by the omega. Correct? Yes or no? Correct or not? My free body diagram here? Correct or not?
Yes, Doctor.
This one, what is F? F is what? Tension in chord. Tension in chord. So you know that the torque will be equal to TO, obviously. Is whatever F you have multiplied by the radius is multiplied by the radius, then you have a torque. Look at the direction. The direction is pointing downward, isn't it? When multiplied by R, it will be pointing downward, correct? So look at the direction. This one. One will be rotating counterclockwise from your seat. This one will be rotating clockwise from your seat. So that is why the result now, it will be pointing the other way instead of rotating the same direction. So that is the reason why TO is always, is always rotating one opposite
Doktor
direction.
terangkan balik yang tu lah.
Okay, then we go back here. Any question from here? Any question from here? Any question on that?
No, doktor.
No? Okay, I'm going to do this one again, yeah? Sorry, I'm going to go back to this one. So then, look at here. What you have is, this one be rotating the other way, this one rotating the other way. So your aim is now to define TB. Remember TB? TB here could be what? This TB could be TA1 or TA2. It doesn't matter, right? It could be TA, can also astaghfirullahalazim. It can be TA, T at the top at analyst, it can be T at sun. Doesn't matter 1 or 2, doesn't matter S1 or S. Okay, so depending on which gear you are, holding, fixing, or locking. So it's very difficult for you to look at what TB now. I'm going to share with you here. Okay, now. So that is why we introduce you equations before that. Yeah, before that. Okay. Go back to this one. Second case. Now you have what? This one TI, correct? This one is T omega O rotating counterclockwise from your seat. So TO will be rotating clockwise from your seat because always opposite. So you found that this TO and TI running with the same direction. So this one will be your TB. This one is you can't tell TB unless you know what TI and TO. This one is very easy because using the equilibrium equation. So the equation that will involve in this, in this problem will be, so look at it, you have Ti first, this one is Ti, this one is To, this one is Tb. Okay, you have Ti omega I, this one power, yeah, this one we call EQUI BRIM, equilibrium equation, plus TB omega B plus T O omega O equal to 0. Equivalent equation, this one, yeah. Okay. When you log, you log supposing you log A, for example, so you log A, so therefore TB is equal to A, omega B equal to 0, correct? Isn't it? So there is no motion of the TB. So therefore, you will have Ti omega I plus To omega O equal to 0. So this one. Okay. Okay, so that is one. Huh? The other one is, you know that for equilibrium, again for equilibrium, Ti plus Tb plus To must be equal to 0 for equilibrium purposes. Huh? And the efficiency given is always Po by Pi. So equal to To omega O by Ti omega I. Not to forget that this To and omega O is always running opposite direction. Remember, I did mention and show you earlier, isn't it? So if you simplify the equation, what you have? You will have the FNC Ti omega I is what equal to, you will have negative To omega O. This equation is not very nice, isn't it? So you solve the equation to become the equivalent equation. We have FNC Ti omega I plus To omega O equal to 0. So these two equations, one equation, two equation, is very, very important in solving any talk problem in the epicyclic game. Okay, now how to use the equation. Okay, now take one example. This one is omega I, this one is omega O, right? Then you have Ti and To. So this one will be Ti, this one will be To. You do not know what Tb is. This could be Tb, this one also could be, which we do not know. Say let give Ti is equal to 200 Newton meter. Let give To is equal to 100 Newton meter. Assuming, yeah, because we want to solve the equation. Okay. Of course, the equation which will give you, if Ti is not given, for example, yeah, if Ti is not given, so you can look Ti as, so get Ti from Pi is equal to Ti omega I. They provide you this one. So if To is also not given, you get To from where? Get To from where? From, remember, FNC Ti omega I plus To omega O equal to 0. Isn't it? So you'll be getting here, okay, To is equal to, you bring To the other side, so you have negative efficiency Ti omega I by omega O. Am I correct or not? Or it can also be written as the efficiency. This one is Ti. Remember this one is 1 by N. Because why? Because N is equal to omega O by omega I. We have omega I by omega N. How do you get this one? How do you get this one? This one from where? From where? From where? What do I write the one? From where, class?
Table 2.
From table 2. From table 2. Okay, now we go back here. So now let's say all given. This one, yeah, given. This one if not given. So what you have to do now, okay, put it here. Just to prove it is correct, isn't it? So Ti plus Tb plus To equal to 0. Equilibrium equation, isn't it? Equilibrium equation. So put it Ti equal to 200 plus Tb we do not know plus To is 100, but yet To is rotating counterclockwise or rotating opposite direction. So we have negative 100 equal to 0. So we put it here, Tb now is equal to, this one of course become positive, this one become negative, isn't it? So it become negative 100 Newton meter. So if you want to construct the put in the equation for put in the tab in the graph in the what do you call it in a figure, for example, yeah. Okay, Ti, this one is what you have to add, equal to 200 Newton meter. This one is equal to 100 Newton meter. So where will be TB now? Where will be TB? Of course, TB will be here, isn't it? Yes or no? This one is not correct. Then it is in equilibrium position condition, because this one 200, this one 100, 100. You have another one. Is that clear, class? Clear now? Hello?
Yes, doctor.
Okay, put another one. Another example just now. Remember, we have two conditions. This time around, omega I is here, omega U is the other side, the other direction. So what are you going to be now? Omega Ti is always here. TO is always opposite omega O, and it be given here 100. This one is 200, isn't it? As given, let's say given the same thing, TO 100, Ti is 200. So what do we have here? So TB will be obviously this one, correct? It's 300. How do you prove? Prove it. Ti plus TB plus TO equal to 0. Then put all the numbers. You have 200 plus this one TB, we do not know, plus 100 equal to 0. Correct? Then TB is obviously, put it in negative 200 plus 100 equal to negative 300 Newton meter. This negative, then your result, as your friend, one of your friend asking just now, 300 Newton meter, in opposite direction. This is the result. Then opposite, is it opposite? Opposite from what you have given. Any question? Any question?
No, doctor.
Okay, now, so if there's no question, we go back to our work example. Pick up one example. Everything in your notes, yeah, you can read on your note on your own, yeah. You can read on your own your notes. So this one, problem. Do you need to write this one? Do you need to construct this one? The answer is yes. Do you need to prove the answer? So yes. Proof, yeah. Whether it is the equilibrium or not, the answer is yes. Do you get the marks? Yes. So meaning to say that you have to do whatever we have done here. Okay. I'm not going to do this one because this one is very simple, because only one train. I'm going to explain a bit only, because this one is very, very simple. So look at here. Okay, you have a simple gear train. You have what you have. If gear A is locked, this one you lock, this one lock. Remember, when this gear A lock, they mean that TB is equal to TA. And when gear in lock, that NA equal to 0. You need only one table, isn't it? You look at here. This one is L1. This one S and O, S and O. This one is stand alone, stand alone. Okay, hold arm and give A -1. Can you give S? Can you give S? You have to try on your own. Okay, now I ask you, can you lock S, class? Can we lock S? Can we lock S? Can we lock S or not?
No, doctor.
No. Why? Why?
Because S is output shunt.
Why?
S is output shunt.
No, because the question asks you to lock A. Okay? Because the question asks you to lock A. If the question asks you to lock S, you can lock S. But now, at the moment now, the question asks you, can you free the gear? Can you free the gear now? Yes or no? Can we free the gear? Yes or no?
No, because
No.
this
Why
one
no?
doesn't.
Why no?
question ask us to log in.
Why no? Remember what did I mention when you want to figure what you need? What you need? You need to speed. Do we have a speed? No. So you cannot fill all the gear because there is no speed mentioned in the equation. So you have only one solution, which you have to lock the gear because they don't provide any of these speeds. Remember that, yeah? You want to fill the gear, two speed must be given. Doesn't matter one train or two train, doesn't matter. Is that clear? Okay. Gear ratio and if gear S rotate 100 RPM. Then this one you can do on your own, yeah. I'm not going to this one. You have this one, then you have the speed. This one is very easy. So this is the new thing now to you. This one I'm going to explain this one a bit details. First, look for this one. Then check whether omega I equal to omega O or omega I not equal to omega O in terms of direction. This one in terms of direction. How do you know? You go back to the table. This one positive. So what does it mean? So you found that the omega O running with the same direction omega I. Then you can easily tell you that the Ti is rotating this way. To is always rotating opposite of omega O. You get what I mean, class? Okay. Then you put this result. This one you can avoid. Doesn't matter this one. Because why? Yeah? Because at the end of the day, this one becoming 0. So you start with this one. Easy. So you have one equation, another equation which is very important. And they provide you as such. Then you'll be getting as what you have here. Okay. No, this one is not very difficult. Yeah. They provide you Ti. Then you calculated TO. Remember this one, obviously. So next one is to define EV. EV also negative. This one, look at negative. This one is positive. This one is negative. This one also negative. You add up together, you minus this one becoming 0. So that is what we call as equilibrium condition. This one, yeah. Equilibrium equation or equilibrium condition to get 0 proven here.
Doctor.
Yes.
For the equation that you put the X mark, that mean that we no need to memorize that equation.
This
Right?
one, this one.
Yeah.
No,
This one.
you jump to this one.
Okay.
This
Doctor.
one not necessary. Jump to this one. So that's why I put equation number 1, equation number 2. Okay. But of course, in theory, you need to know that for the equilibrium condition, you need as such. But as you lock part of the gear, so this one becoming 0 because omega B will become 0. Huh? Okay, now I'm going to solve this one. Common arm again. Common arm. Can you do this one common arm on your own? It's not very difficult, right? Okay. I'm going to solve only for talk. Yeah. The rest because this one is not very difficult. So for talk only. Remember, first equation is this one. The second equation. Where are you? The second equation? Sorry, this one. This one. First equation is one. Then this one. This one is. Look at there. First one. Memorize this one. This one you don't have to memorize. This one you don't have to memorize. Do not memorize. Why? Because this one is coming from this equation. Remember, TO omega O, TI omega I. The only difference now you have to put negative here. The reason is why? Because this one omega O and TO is always running opposite direction. As I proved earlier just now. Okay, so you don't have to memorize the one. Okay, now take a look here. First, you need to define whether omega I equal to omega O or not. How do you check? You check on the figure, on the table. Table 2 or table 1. It's only one table, yeah. You have this one, okay, this one O positive, I negative. So What does it mean? It means that omega I now is not equal to omega O in terms of direction. So you both your figure omega I and omega O running opposite direction. Then it will simply tell you that Ti running with omega I, Ti omega omega I, To opposite direction. So look at it, Ti, To, then it's your T, TB. Easy, right? So first one, use the equation. Okay, Ti plus To plus Tb equal to 0. Ti given. If not given, you can use equation from this one. If not given, remember Ti equal to here. If not given, if given, just simply take the one. To, you use this one. Get To. Okay, then you put it there. They provide you the one calculated, this one from this equation. So positive, so this one positive. To also positive, also positive. Then your Tb. Look at the negative, right? Because opposite. Understand or not? Understand or not?
Yes, doctor.
Then you
Okay.
can prove it for the equilibrium equation equal to 0. Okay, that is the complete exercise, the complete exercise of the talks. I'm going to, I'm not going to do example number 13 because you have this one, a very nice solution with you, yeah. But remember, yeah, example number 13. It is different type of epicyclic here. I'm exposing to you with different type of epicyclic here. What does this mean? Look at here. Typically what you have is, remember, your A will be expanding, isn't it? Your A will be expanding bigger and bigger radially. This one, your A will be what? Become, if you have A3, look at it, A2 inside, A1 outside. Right, A2 inside, A1 inside. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What does matter now? How to categorize the gear. So let me check here. So let me ask you. This one is what? Virtual or virtual actual arms. Of course, this belongs to compound gate twins. Tell me now.
Virtual.
Two virtual, right? How do you know two virtual? Look at here. This one A2 is the internal gear. Right? It's the internal gear, yeah? It's not external gear. External gear is A1. A2 internal gear holding L1. A1 is the external gear holding L, what? L2. Right? So how do you categorize? How do you, which train you want to start first? Which train? Which train? Train number 1, isn't it? Train number 1. Why train number 1? Why train number 1, Lee? Why train number 1? Because this one is the external gear. Yes, correctly. External gear acting as an arm. So you start this one. Lock gear A1. This one, train number 1, you have to lock gear number 1. Okay, now gear A1, L1, A1, L1, A2, so, yeah, L1 is correct. L1 here is A2. You have another one is S1 is I, correct? S1. You have this one A1 standalone here, standalone, correct? So you log A1, you have 0 here. This is the result. Do not put this one N. Why? Because look at your notes here. Your note you have N there. It's not correct. Do make some correction on your notes class. Your note you have N here. It's not correct. It is not N. What is N? Remember, N is always NO by N I. Those who by the June printed, the June version, you have N there. I suppose you have N. If there is no N, it's correct. Yeah. If you have N, it's not correct. Example number. Yes, Fn. Look at you have n. Mine is no n, yeah. So this one is not basically n. It's this one only. Okay, I'm running out of time now. Huh? So now the next one. Consider the whole train. Look at the consider train. How is it? Is the extension. Extension L1. Look at here. L1 A2. Go back here. L1. Isn't it? This one, isn't it? This one is L1. L1 A2 A2, correct. So A2 L1. Then what? S1. But it, look at, go back here. You have O, meaning that here attached to that shaft. So A2, this one is L1, you have O, correct? Not? The next one S1 I correct, don't change. A1, look at A1. A1 here, carry planet to, so A1, A2. Sorry, A1, L2, A1, L2. And look at S2. S2 is here. S2 is not connected or carry any part of the gear. So A2 will be S2 will be S2 alone. Okay, this one is not very difficult. So you log L2, then you give ES2. So this one A2 S2 is not very difficult. But this one, bit more, 1 or 2 minutes. S1 with S2. This one, look at the NS1 by NS2 is equal to, remember, NS1 unknown, NS2. Okay, NS2 is always a good friend of Na2. NS2, this one is Na2, Na2. How do you know? You have to go back to the figure. A2 here and is S2, one plane, one train. Okay, and the next one, NS1. You cannot put this one NS2. No, you have to check from table number 1. Go back here. You have NS1, Na2. Put it the Na2. You can cancel these 2 gear. Then will give you this one, and this one it will balance. But of course, you have to inverse this one. What you get is Na2 by NS1. You have to inverse to become 4. That is why you inverse to become 4 here. Okay, and as I mentioned earlier, this thing can also be collected from here, and you can take this one because this one is so identical. Finally, you get the same result. You have this one, and this one will be positive. I and O will be positive. For at the end of the day, we have this one positive and positive. Okay, I'm sorry I hold a couple of minutes. The class I'll be seeing again, inshallah, on Wednesday at 8. So please dua that we have we can finish up the whole thing before we meet next week for the next topics. Okay, sorry class, I hold you a couple of minutes. So sorry I can't ask you any question. If you have a question, you can just post in group. Yeah. Okay, with that I would like to end my session. So I will meeting you again, inshallah, next meeting. With that, I end my session with Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hope you enjoy my class. Stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you, class.